This woman's husband is away on business and she's dating another man at the hotel while they were playing in the pool, but the tycoon found them. But the tycoon didn't expose them, but quietly sneaked into their room. Seeing the messy sheets and clothes scattered all over the floor, the tycoon was almost out of breath. From this moment on, a plan of revenge began to unfold. At night, the tycoon waited for his wife to return. Then he told her what he had seen during the day. The wife panicked.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
And the tycoon pulled a gun on his wife. Outside the house, the gardener hears the gunshot. He knocked on the door to find out what was going on. The tycoon didn't answer. Instead, he puts the gun in the window and keeps shooting. The gardener was so scared that he ran away. The tycoon calmly picked up the bullet from the floor. He wiped the bullet and threw them on the ground. Then he took off his clothes and threw them into the fireplace. Then he cleaned himself up to prevent traces of gunpowder on his body. When he was done, he waited for the police to arrive. Soon the police surrounded the villa, and the man who was dating his wife was the police captain. The tycoon asked to talk to the captain alone. The captain didn't know who the victim was because he didn't know the woman's real identity. When he entered the house and saw the photo, he was completely baffled. The one lying on the floor was his lover. He rushed forward to check. Luckily, the woman was still alive, but when he turned his head, the tycoon was coming towards him with a gun. He quickly grabbed the gun and pounced on the tycoon, and he punched the tycoon. Luckily, he was pulled away by other policemen. The tycoon was arrested on the spot. His wife was taken to the hospital. The bullet shells and the gun were also taken away by the police. Soon after, the tycoon was taken to court. The prosecutor in charge of the case was a young lawyer. He was well known in the area. He had a 97% conviction rate. He was confident about the case because the tycoon was caught red-handed and he signed the confession. It's not difficult. He thought he could easily add to his winning record. When the lawyer came to the court, he was surprised by the tycoon's actions. He not only waived his right to hire a private lawyer to defend him, he also waived today's pre-trial hearing. He wants to go straight to trial. The sooner the better. The police captain thought it was strange. He found a lawyer right away. Although he doesn't know what the tycoon is up to, he told the lawyer to take the case seriously and to watch out for the tycoon, but the lawyer didn't care. He thought there was no case he couldn't handle, but it wasn't long before he received a call from a colleague. The pistol brought back by the police was a brand new one. The new pistol can't be used as evidence. What's even stranger is that a total of 4 shots were fired, but not a single bullet has been found. There were no fingerprints on the shell casings at the scene. There's no bloodstain on the tycoon's clothes. There's no trace of gunpowder on his body or hands. In other words, these so-called evidences were of no use. The lawyer thought the tycoon's plan was perfect. Even if he did everything against him seamlessly, the lawyer is still confident that he will be convicted because the tycoon had already signed a confession. The lawyer wanted to know how the tycoon could get himself off the hook. The rich man's wife cheated on him. He shot his wife. The tycoon was arrested by the police and sent to court, but the tycoon drew pictures in the courtroom. He didn't give a damn about the trial. Prosecution lawyers started calling witnesses to testify. The first witness was the rich man's gardener. The gardener testified there was no third party present in the house except the husband and wife, and that from the time he heard the shots until the police arrived, he didn't see anyone coming or out of the house. Then the lawyer called the second witness. She's the attending physician of the tycoon's wife. The doctor said that the bullet passed through the victim's frontal cortex. The damage done will be irreversible. That means the tycoon's actions constitute murder. At this point, the judge asks the tycoon if he disagrees with any of this testimony. He could ask questions of the witnesses, but the tycoon didn't take it seriously and said he didn't have any objections and continued to paint. However, when the lawyer called the third witness, the police captain, the rich man began to get serious because this is the man who broke up their family. By the time the captain had finished his story, the tycoon objected. The judge asked him which one he objected to. The tycoon said he didn't know because he doesn't know the legal terminology. The judge said to let Khan say it like a layman. The tycoon agrees and says in front of the judge,
Fucking the victim.
The statement frowned everyone in the courtroom. The tycoon saw that the judge was hesitant to respond. He explained, "You told me to say it in layman's terms." Then he asked the lawyer, "What does the law say about the arresting officers having an affair with your wife?" The lawyer was dumbfounded by the tycoon's question. He couldn't answer for a moment. The captain saw the scandal being exposed. Emotions instantly out of control. He rushed over and jumped on the tycoon. The trial was terminated, so the tycoon told the judge the truth. He had detectives investigate the police chief and his wife. He had a lot of evidence of their misconduct. Rich said the captain coerced him into signing the confession, so the captain's testimony and the confession were all legally null and void. The whole case is completely reversed. The lawyer was helpless. The evidence he had collected was overturned by the tycoon. The judge asked the lawyer to submit new evidence before the next trial, otherwise the tycoon will be acquitted. The lawyer had to reopen the investigation. He searched for the murder weapon's pistol and he interrogated the police captain, but by now, The captain was mentally devastated. His family and career are in shambles. His mind was in chaos. He couldn't provide any useful clues. The lawyer had to go to the hotel where the captain had a date to get the court fee, but the security footage was too blurry and the tycoon was wearing a hat, so it was impossible to see the rich man's face. Afterwards, the lawyer went to the tycoon's mansion and office, but he still couldn't find any evidence. The pistol seemed to have disappeared into thin air. No matter how hard he looked, he couldn't find it. The final trial was approaching. The lawyer didn't know what to do. Just when he was at a loss, the police captain suddenly approached him. He said he had a way to find someone from the forensics department and make a fake evidence of the tycoon's murder. The lawyer turned down the captain immediately, but the captain was still determined. He called the lawyer again that night. He said he had prepared everything. As long as the evidence is submitted to the court, they will be able to convict the tycoon. The lawyer, eager to win, began to hesitate. He knew the tycoon was the murderer, but he has no evidence against him. Is his reputation more important, or is it more important to bring the murderer to justice? The lawyer was in a quandary. Then, he went to the rich man's wife's hospital room, looking at the woman on a ventilator. Then it occurred to him that the murderer would be acquitted and walk free. The lawyer's mind seemed to have found the answer. This tycoon is the murderer of his wife, but the police can't do anything about it because the police's evidence was overturned by the tycoon. So the police chief and the lawyer cooperated. They will use fake evidence to send the tycoon to jail. But when it came to the trial, the lawyer hesitated. A lawyer with a 97% conviction rate, he needs to rely on perjured evidence to convict the suspect. Even if he wins, he'll look down on himself. So when the judge asked him if he had any new evidence, the lawyer could only answer truthfully.
I have no further evidence at this time, Your Honor.
The judge declared the tycoon not guilty and released him in court. Faced with this result, the captain was completely desperate. He silently got up and walked out of the courtroom. Soon the lawyer heard gunshots from outside. He rushed out to check. The captain had swallowed the gun and killed himself. This made the lawyer feel sorry for himself, but the tycoon next to him was very happy. The first thing he has to do now is to continue his revenge. He went to the hospital. He asked the doctor to unplug his wife's life-sustaining equipment. As a direct family member, he has the right to give up his wife's treatment. When the lawyer learned of this, he went to the judge to get a restraining order. When he arrives at the hospital with a restraining order, it was too late. Looking at the rich man's mocking eyes, the lawyer had never lost so badly. He became negative. But that day, a colleague took his mobile phone by mistake. The lawyer sees two identical cell phones. He realized in a flash. He finally realized the tycoon's plan. So he immediately went to the tycoon's house. He told the tycoon his reasoning. The gun the tycoon shot his wife with was the captain's gun. He bought a gun of the same model a month ago. Then he sneaked into the room where they were dating. The tycoon switched the pistol with the captain's. When he got home, he used the captain's gun to kill his wife. Then he let the captain come in alone to negotiate, and both of them put down their guns. When the captain checked the wound of tycoon's wife, Rich quickly switched their guns back to each other. This is why the police couldn't find the gun, because the gun was on the captain's body. The truth is revealed. The tycoon gave him a look of approval. His reasoning was right, but it was too late. You can't double jeopardy a crime. Even if his wife came back to life to testify, it wouldn't convict him. The lawyer looked at the tycoon and smiled contemptuously. If the rich man's wife was alive, he wouldn't be able to get a second trial for attempted murder. But now the tycoon's wife is dead. He can't just re-indict the tycoon for murder. As soon as forensics removes the bullet and compares it, the truth will be revealed. So the tycoon is back in court. I don't know if he can't get away with it this time. The film doesn't give an answer at the end. I think the lawyer may not be able to convict the tycoon because the court fee only captured the man who was similar in size to tycoon. It doesn't prove that it's tycoon, so it's only an inference that tycoon switched guns. It can't be used as evidence. Although the bullet was removed from tycoon's wife's head, it only proves that tycoon's wife was shot by the captain's gun. It doesn't prove that the tycoon used the gun. So what do you think? Tell us what you think.